The following is a special presentation of iRacing on LSR TV, your home for sim racing. Live tonight from the Bristol Motor Speedway, LSR TV with you to say good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to our continuing coverage of the 2018 Championship eSports Association Cars eSport Tour on your home for sim racing and iRacing Live. Live tonight from the Bristol Motor Speedway, LSR TV with you to say good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to round number 6 of the 2018 Championship eSports Association Cars eSport Tour on your home for sim racing and iRacing Live. We're tonight from Thunder Valley. We say hello and welcome to the Coliseum 200 on LSR TV. Super late model stocks are ready to rock and roll, and we're happy that you are with us on a Wednesday evening at the LSR TV booth. As always, alongside myself, Evan Pasoko, joined tonight by Trevor Valderrama and Gary Weaver. Downstairs, Cisco Scaramuza, Twisted and Tweaked Dials, bringing us to you this evening. And Trevor, we head into the 6th week of competition, going to be the 5th race for each of these divisions in the Cars eSport Tour. But Bristol, I think, has got to be the most intimidating track that we've seen so far. We did see Martinsville a couple of weeks back, but nothing compares to the last great Coliseum.
Yeah, looking back at a few tracks that we've had, Stafford, Myrtle Beach, Irwindale, and Lanier, you know, those are really moderate to low banking. But here at Bristol, we have such high banking tonight. You know, these drivers are going to have quite the track to deal with. You know, it's nothing they've seen before, as you said, and, you know, it's just going to be amazing to see how these drivers will deal with such a big change with this mile or 0.5 of a mile track here tonight for 100 laps in this super late model division.
And of course, the super late model is going to be taken to the track first, Gary, both the SLMs and the LMSCs with 100-lap features tonight from the Bristol Motor Speedway. So we get it kicked off with the super late models coming into tonight. Jake Watson leading in the championship standings, and boy, do we have a fun fight on our hands. Christian Peterson only 4 points back in second, 9 points back to Justin Trombley. You have the likes of Matt Cucker, Brandon Wilkinson knocking on the door with Wooten, Morgan, Heim, Austin, and Adams through the top 10. So it is going to be very fun as we continue to work through this SLM championship, and the points are nice and tight coming into tonight, so it should be a fun afternoon of action.
Yeah, this afternoon is going to be absolutely amazing to watch, with especially that close battle between the points that you mentioned. Only about essentially 10 points separating the entire top 3. One of those drivers in the top 3 have not won a single race as of yet. That would be Christian Peterson. Of course, he is here, so he's up in second in the points, so that's going to be very, very interesting to see what he can do and if he can finally get a win here tonight.
And as we come into this race, should note that while the championship picture is starting to form a little bit, there are going to be some new driver entries into this series starting tonight. We will see the likes of Cole Cabry, Connor Hall, some of the drivers who compete in the ranks of NASCAR. Robbie Bundin, John Ouellette, also some faces that are going to be new to this series, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a bunch of them this evening. But as we get set to go racing for the first of tonight's twin 100-lap main events, let's go down trackside and take a look at your LSR TV starting grid. This is the super late model division. Matt Cucker will start tonight from pole position to the number 69 car. He's going to bring us to the green flag tonight. He will be accompanied by Anthony Sergi outside of the front row in second. And Connor Hall going to start third tonight. Cole Cabry, great qualifying effort. His first time out is fourth, and Christian Peterson is fifth.
Starting 6th in that 71 machine, Dawson Fletcher. Starting 7th, John Lyday. P8 goes to Ray Slate. P9, William Hale. And P number 10, Corey Ham.
That would be Corey Himes, Evan, but close though. Starting in 11th, there's going to be that number 77 of Ryan Doucette. Seth the Merchant starts in 12th to his outside. Andrew Wooten starts in the 13th place position in the number 2. Jeremy Adams starts 14th, and 15th is going to be John Ouellette.
And Ouellette's going to be accompanying Scott Austin to the outside of row 8. Chip Dickert will start 17th tonight. Joe Burchett is back at 18th position. And as we get back to row 10 on the grid, it is Jeremy Watkins in 19th and Trayton Lapkovich in 20th.
P21 goes to Brandon Wilkinson. P22 goes to Charlie Melvin. Tommy Ryan and P23, Robbie Bunden. P24 and Jake Watson, rounding out your 25 car field.
So let's look top to bottom at your LSR TV starting grid. We talk, Gary, about this Bristol Motor Speedway, the world's fastest half mile. Clock it in, though. I think the big thing that we're going to be talking about, the banking, throwing it in there. 26 degrees on the bottom, 30 degrees up top. It is like no other track.
Yeah, it's a huge change from last week at Lanier, where we had 8 degrees in the turns and 3 on the straightaway. So it's going to be a very big change for these drivers. I expect these drivers to also run the preferable top line here in the corners.
And as always, happy that you're spending your Wednesday evening with us on LSR TV in iRacing Live. Pace car going to head down and into the safety of the pit road this time. And Matt Cucker, name that we talked a lot about, comes into tonight leading in the late model stocks, but not in these super late models. He's looking to get win number 2 in this division on the season, and he'll come off at turn number 4 to the American Ethanol green flag. We are racing. It's the Coliseum 200 for the Cars eSport Tour, and we are underway for the super lates.
Matt Cucker takes a quick advantage coming out of turn 2 onto the backstretch for the first time. Fantastic start for him. Hall follows closely behind with the number 23 of Christian Peterson and the number 20 of Sergey behind him.
And Sergey right there in the number 4 position. He will stay down behind Peterson. It looks like the 23, though, wants the challenge for second. He's not going up in line. He'll stay down to the inside of the 97 to Connor Hall, and he's really going to do his best here to force a side-by-side battle. And here for the second position, Peterson almost all the way through and clear, not quite yet. The NASCAR K&N Pro Series East driver will fall to third. The series veteran in the Cars eSport Tour, Peterson, takes away second.
Just right behind them, now it's going to be the 97 and 22 side-by-side, 2x2. A little bit of a stack up from that 99, fell back just a little bit. Right now, Connor Hall falls back at the moment to 4th place right now as John Lyday makes his way around on the inside in that number 22.
Really one of the lone drivers down on that inside of the racetrack is Lyday, but it was a good job for him to be able to double up on Connor Hall. And the 97 is not out of the woodwork yet. There comes the 71 at Austin Fletcher up the inside of the racetrack. Fletcher just got a spot a lap ago. Meanwhile, in front of this, John Lyday again on the inside of the racetrack. Made it look easy. He'll pass Peterson for second, and now you see Fletcher make that same move, passing Connor Hall. So the inside, the place to be early here at Bristol, it seems. Tons of passing.
Yeah, tons of passing down the bottom. You can really see these cars taking advantage of that low line as you see that number 62 of Hale passing the number 97 of Hall. On that low side, you see the battle between the 08 and the 20. That's Slate and Sergi. And down the bottom, the 08 really having the preferred line, waiting to see how that top line comes into play later in this race.
71 of Fletcher still looking down on the inside of the racetrack, but for the moment, maybe an opportunity to catch your breath if you're running inside of the top 7. 8th is where the next battle is, and that's now Corey Himes' spot. The 78 passes Anthony Sergi. In front of them now another battle all the way up front. In fact, John Lyday again making it look so easy, Gary. Doesn't even give you an opportunity to get the cameras up there. He gets to the inside and he makes the pass, and a caution at lap number 10. Problems with Chip Dickert on the front straightaway.
That was amazing timing by John Lyday in that number 22. I'm looking at the replay right now. Looks like Chip got a piece of that apron, got up into that number 56 of Brendan Wilkinson. So Wilkinson no doubt has some little bit of left side damage, but that 04 is definitely heavily damaged here, and it's only lap number 10 here at the moment, or at least it is for him.
Unfortunate for the 04 machine, as you saw on that second look. That apron really loosened that car up, and Brandon Wilkinson's very fortunate that that 56 machine, Trevin, after getting hit in the left rear quarter panel, which is probably the last place you want to get hit at a racetrack like Bristol, that he didn't get immediately dumped into the inside wall, so he did a good job of hanging onto that car, making it less of an incident than it certainly could have been if he was also in it.
That was an absolute fantastic save by Brandon Wilkinson. You know, very unfortunate day for the number 04 machine, but you know, you got to set up and get ready for the next race ahead. You know, this track is really difficult. You can't really be flirting with the apron that much. You know, obviously we just saw if you get a little bit too much onto that apron, your car's going to get sideways and you're going to have to save it. And unfortunately, the number 04 to the inside wall.
We're pacing early on here from Bristol. 100 laps can go by quickly depending on what pace you're running. And as we go into the caution, it's just an opportunity to kind of reset and look at what happened there. Not a ton of people, you know, picking up in excess of 4 or 5 spots, but there's definitely drivers getting spots here, getting spots there. In fact, nobody is running inside of the top 10 where they started, so it has been completely shuffled up. But the point that I was really trying to make there, Gary, when that yellow came out, is that John Lyday almost using that apron to rotate that car, and he has just been so lethal down low. We've seen people like the 71 of Machida Fletcher up the inside. We have seen somebody like Corey Heim up the inside of the racetrack, but it takes him a lap or two. The 22 made it look easy on Christian Peterson and made it look easy on Matt Kucker. Got to the inside just like that and got around him. So look out for the 22 Machida Lyday. That's not something easy to do. He'll restart in front of Kucker, who's second to Peterson, still there in third. You can never count him out, but the 22 was impressive in that very short early stint.
Yeah, 22 was doing an amazing job using that low line for passing, and while that completely negated what I said earlier about the preferable top line, it usually is preferable, but Sean Lyday is making that look easy on the inside lane, so we're going to see if he's going to use that to his advantage here on this restart.
His car going to be in this time. Watch for the 22 to be into control of this one. He has a little bit more leeway out of when he restarts this race than what Matt Kucker did on the initial drop of the American Ethanol green flag in this one. Look for the 22 to put the right foot down as they head into the restart box. And we go back, Reed. Very good jump topside for the 69 at Kucker. He did get him at the start-finish line. And a lot on the inside will clear up front, but the 69 a good effort. Thought he might have thought about a crossover. Thinks better of it.
The number 71 of Fletcher didn't really have a great start. He got stacked up, and the number 08 of Slate got into him, but everybody seems to be rolling now safely and soundly. The first top 5 are getting single-filed out, along with P number 6. That's William Hale. The first challengers, the 78 of Heim, coming down low, trying to find a way around, but that number 99 is trying to make that top side work. That's Cabry trying to get to that Kyle Larson line, as I like to call it.
Yeah, now all the way up on the outside of the racetrack, you can definitely expect that, you know, you get that big wind up, if you will, and that 30 degrees of bank. It is why that top side of the racetrack can be so effective, and the Kyle Larson line per se. Single filing things out though up front a little bit quicker off than we did that last run. You do have a fight between the 81 of John Ouellette, the 99 of Cole Cabry. Cabry dropping back for the start of this race, took the green flag from 4th. He's now down in 9th in his 99 Toyota.
Yeah, not the best way to start, but he does have, at this point, 81 more laps once we cross the start-finish line to improve on his position that he has now. He has a little bit of time right now, but just behind him, everybody is making the storm right now. I'm seeing the 57 of Seth the Merchant using that low line, and then right behind him, side by side for P, position number 11 is going to be Connor Hall on the top side, and on the low side, Ryan Doucette in that 77.
Doucette in the 77. The machine has been kind of stuck here mid-pack. He's on the inside of the racetrack, which early on has been a good place to be. The longer we go into this race, the more that line is going to move up and up the hill. That 2 of Andrew Wooten got a great run that time, but he's got nowhere to go. Look at the 2 again, another great run, but he's stuck behind the 97, and he can't cross him over because the 77 sets down low. So Andrew Wooten, I think, is going to be a player, if he can get some space. He's hit the back over the 97 about 4 times in a row now, as he gets those better runs off for the corner up top. Does he get to the bumper again this time? No. So the 97 gets a little bit of a minor reprieve there. But again, you got these guys mid-pack that right now going to be difficult for them to navigate traffic. If we get one of those 40-lap green flag runs to a comp yellow, look for those kind of drivers to try to make some noise.
Yeah, and you see the number 2 to the back bumper again, trying to get down low, nearly chops the number 77 of Doucette. Now he gets in front of Doucette and is going to be able to make a good run on that bottom side to get around the number 97 of Hall. Trying, and he does complete that, and the number 77 is also getting a good run, and now you see the number 2 of Wooten setting sail and setting his sights on that number 99 of Cabry.
Cabry is the driver that is in the sights for the number 2 machine of Wooten, and see how he undercuts Dakota Gary coming off. He's not riding that top side all the way around. It's almost the exact opposite line than what we saw with John Lyday. Lyday, when he took over the race lead, didn't run the bottom all the way around, but he took a big swoop down low and pushed up high to kind of take that line away. I wouldn't call it a slide job, but it was definitely an aggressive move on exit. The 2 does the opposite, so now outside's occupied. The 2's going to go down to the inside of the racetrack, take it away. Very nice job by Wooten, who takes over P10.
Yeah, it's an amazing job and a great strategy, especially with the line right there. You can see it happen, and that's actually, in a way, a little bit more useful than, or at least more preferred than riding the high line all the way around. We have more chances of hitting the outside wall exiting the corner now, as Cabry's still falling back just a couple positions now, as he has the 89 of Jeremy Adams go by him. Tommy Ryan on the inside, and the number 6 almost making contact with number 88 of Jake Watson. He almost got turned coming out of turn number 4.
Tommy Ryan was really loose down into 1. He wasn't able to hook that car back up until the banking really helped that 6 machine to regain some grip. And the 88 car, there's a car there though. Hello, Jake Watson. Tried to come up on the 6 machine, and Tommy Ryan held his ground, and your Super Late Model Championship points leader, Watson, who started way back in 25th position, that has been charging his way to the front, getting a little bit aggressive on the move with the 6 car there, and I'm sure that if they end up side by side later on in this one, that the 6 machine of Ryan will remember that one.
Yeah, absolutely, and Tommy Ryan's really somebody that we've seen dominate in previous series out here, so we're looking for him to make a good finish. But here he goes down on the bottom, trying to get around the number 88 of Watson, but the 99 chops him a little bit. Cabry now 3 wide, goes down to the bottom, letting both of them pass, and now he's got to battle his way to Doucette, and he's falling back even quicker now, Evan.
And it's tough to tell, maybe, you know, Gary, what might be wrong with Cole Cabry. We have seen the likes of Chase Cabry in the service here at Indy Super Late Models before. You have to look back a couple of years to remember those days, but we definitely know that he knows what he's doing in a race car. We know he knows that he's doing on the iRacing service after qualifying 4th for this one, but he just really seems to be struggling in traffic.
Yeah, Cabry's not really doing as great of a job as he most likely wants to right now, and I saw behind him Connor Hall almost gone to the outside wall in turns 3 and 4 there. That's going to be a little bit of a disadvantage right there, so Bristol is absolutely amazing, though. Always put on a great race. Everybody's a little bit spread out, though, but I am seeing a little bit of a brewing battle between Jake Watson and Tommy Ryan.
And we'll see if anything comes of that battle with Ryan, who somebody else that we've known for many years here on this service and has been having a good start to this race as well. He and Watson have seen a lot of each other. Jake Watson started 25th, and Tommy Ryan started 23rd. Right now they're on 11th and 12th respectively. So they've done a good job of coming through the field together, which means that they've seen a lot of each other. They probably haven't gone much more than a lap without looking at that other race car. So you have to give them kudos for not getting upset with each other yet. Once they start fighting against each other instead of against everybody else, then maybe that'll change. But Tommy Ryan trying to get that spot back from Watson. Watson passed him early, kind of led that charge. Here comes the 6 car to the inside of the racetrack. Going to be side by side. This one's for 11th.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you see them fighting back and forth, and they're side by side with, you see number 89 and the 57 in front of them, or excuse me, that's the 89 and the 2 in front of them. And, you know, once you get up to them, you're going to have a 4-car battle pretty soon under a blanket, and it's only going to make for more chaos as you see the number 6 of Ryan able to take the 11th position. And you see him just getting closer and closer to the number 2 of Wooten, as just trying to get to the lap 100, trying so hard, and we got 60 laps to go, Evan.
And do keep in mind that, as always, if you go for 40 laps, aside from if that would lead us into the final 40 laps of the race, that there are competition cautions in place, as always, with the Cars eSport Tour. So as we continue to work on this run, should note that if we get to lap number 55, that is when the competition caution would have come out. There were a couple of drivers that did get some penalties to start this race. Jeremy Adams and DJ Beverly were sent to the back of the pack for missing the driver's meeting, so they were hit with those penalties. I just want to note that as we maybe see if any of those drivers can get up into the conversation. Adams is somebody who, despite the fact that the show started in 14th, has gone from a lot further back from there to get up to P9 to where he is right now. So a good job for him. DJ Beverly, on the other hand, not seeing that car at the moment.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. So he may be in the next race after this, Evan, but unfortunately he's not here. I did see, however, Seth the Merchant made his way from 8th to 7th now, as he just passed the 08 of Rafe Slate for that position. Haven't really seen Seth the Merchant up where near his teammate of Christian Pearson as of yet, but Seth the Merchant is slowly working his way up here, as right now he's got his sights set on that number 81 of John Ouellette.
Yeah, and Ouellette, somebody else who we mentioned coming into this one, new driver here with the Cars eSport Tour, and he's doing a very good job, kind of oppo of what we have seen early in the race with the likes of Cabri, where they started up front and fell back. Ouellette was more of a mid-pack car in qualifying, 15th, Trevor, but he's had a fantastic go. It is going to be a good challenge here, going head-to-head with Seth the Merchant in the 57 machine, but nonetheless, it's a good fight side by side right now, and a good job by Ouellette. He's already up 9 spots so far.
Fantastic run by him, and you see right now that between these two cars, it's really the two lines that are being used tonight, or utilized tonight, the top line and that bottom line. You see the number 81 get very, very close to the wall, as John Ouellette, and the number 57 of Seth the Merchant getting ever so close to that apron, and we saw what happens if you get too close with Chip earlier on in this race, and now that number 81 of Ouellette is really setting sail. Just you see how close he gets to that wall just without touching it, and that really winds that car up, as you said earlier, Evan, and sends it forward, coming to 50 laps to go now, and this race is basically halfway over, and you know, you got to start thinking about what you're going to be doing, and now you see Seth the Merchant also taking that high line, seeing that it's working for Ouellette, so he's just going to try and mirror that same kind of driving that he's doing.
It's obviously the objective for sure, and you know, you start to look at the intervals. I don't think that Lide is really going to be under pressure till the end of this one. A good three-way scrap in a fight for 8th on back in contact. I think maybe Slate and Tommy Ryan might have gotten together. Adams wins that battle. He'll get out in front of the mess and take over P8. And the 08 machine really struggling. Slate going to lose 2 spots in 1 lap. After doing so good to hold his position, he'll fall to the end of the top 10.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate. Directly behind them, a little bit of contact as the 88 of Jake Watson made a little bit of contact with the right rear core panel of Ryan Doucette. We have pretty much a 4-car battle for 11th place right here. But 2 separate cars dying for 2 separate positions. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. So we got the 2 of Andrew Wooten and the 77 of Doucette versus the 88, and it looks like the number 54 of Charles Melvin. As you can see, Jake Watson running very high.
Yeah, way up the racetrack for certain, and one more lap to go, and we will get the competition caution at a break in this one. And just as I say that, the competition caution is out. So we slow things down. Lap number 55, John Lade is having a heck of a night, Trevor. He's already led more laps tonight than ever he has in his career here in the Cars eSport Tour. Still searching for that first career win. That was a pretty solid statement of a run.
Yeah, it's really showing Matt Cucker what Lide is made of. You know, you saw Matt Cucker really get a good start, and then after that second restart, John Lide was not going to give an inch after seeing what Matt Cucker could do. So, you know, fantastic restart by him, and just able to take that position away from him and run away with it for this many laps. And, you know, that gives a good confidence builder going towards the end of this. Now, also, we got to talk about tires. They get no tires, so they're really just going to have to wait up.
What we'll do as we cross halfway, we'll take a quick opportunity to step aside. When we come back, we'll see if John Lade can put together another 40-lap run like that. Maybe get his first career win at a Cars eSport Tour. You're watching LSR TV's coverage of the Cars eSport Tour on iRacing Live. When we come back, we race for the checkers at ESLMs. Back live from Thunder Valley, lap number 60 going to be complete. You're watching the Cars eSport Tour on LSR TV, super late model main event for race 6 on the 2018 season, and we have 40 laps to go as the pace car heads in this time. John Lyday, so good, 1.5 seconds is the gap he pulled on that last 40 lap run. If he can do that again at the run to the end, he'll get his first career win in the Cars eSport Tour at LSR TV. The pace car in this time. No guarantees we go green the rest of the way. The 22 looking for a good restart just like he did last time. Green flag in the air. The 69 hot out of the gate once more. Lada needs to use the inside.
Oh, crash in the back. Heavy crash in the back, and that was from a stack up. Scott Austin, number 5, got the worst end of that. And well, it's not the first time that the stack up happened. I noticed on the restart, but not this bad of a stack up as Scott Austin has completely been destroyed, unfortunately, on this restart.
That's the risk, per se, of every time you group them up. And to be fair, Trevor, I did just say, you know, if Lyday can put together a 40-lap run, it's going to be done with. But these late race restarts tend to lead to some yellows, and it was just an accordion effect up top. Scott Austin gets disposed of on the inside of the racetrack, and that tells me that we'll have a couple of these as the night goes on here to the closing laps.
Yeah, it's the second time somebody spun their tires on a restart, and, you know, you just got to be able to control yourself, you know. It's coming down to the wire. Yeah, it's a short track. It's 0.5 mile, 15 seconds clicking off these laps, and you know you're trying to get to that front position, and you see cars ahead of you trying to get a good restart, and you try to time it the same exact way, and then you just time it 1 second, 1 millisecond too early, and you just get the power down too heavy, and you know as soon as you know it, you're starting up an accordion effect, and then the drivers behind you have nowhere to go. It's not as tight as Martinsville, where you know, you see a crash and you're not going to be able to avoid it. You have a little bit of room to work with, but still, it's a short track and it's very narrow, and there's not really a lot of room to run away from.
And it is very difficult to get yourself into that position. What are you going to do? You know, you're lined up top, Gary. You get a car in front of you, the one that's slowing down and you got to brake for. There's a car behind you who ends up hitting you. You can't go left, there's a car. You can't go right, there's a wall. It's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, it's just one of those moments where you can't do anything but hang on and hope you don't get the worst end of that. And again, Scott Austin unfortunately got the heavily worst end of that, quite literally. So that's just something that you can't really see in front of the car in front of you, especially when you're that close. And well, that's just, again, just another unfortunate event that you can be involved in. So that's why you have to be careful and lay back just a little bit more on those restarts.
Looking to see if the lights come out this time by. To be honest, not that big of a difference if it's a 35 lap to go restart or a 34 lap to go restart, but you do see as this time go by, lights are going to stay on top. The one thing that I've been noticing about John Lyday, Trevin, is obviously control car to try to get up and get going. But the problem for him here is because of the timing of that yellow. The 69 to Matt Cucker, 2 restarts in a row. Even that last run where he was so good, Cucker got a better initial start than him. Now, the 22 would go to the race lead on the bottom, and it would be fine. But the yellow flag came out so quick there that Matt Cucker was scored as your race leader. So Lyday is going to be on the outside of the front row this time for the first time. And even though I think Lyday's got a better green flag run car, Matt Cucker, given that #1 position, it puts the 69 at a spot that he can make some noise and maybe mess with the 22 machine. The 22 ends up fighting for second, and you never know what might happen.
Yeah, John Lyday doesn't want to give up that front position easily. He's definitely going to be fighting back on this, but you know, as you said, very unfortunate timing for this yellow flag to come out. He's just going to have to fight back harder on this bottom line and show what he's made of. You know, he's gotten to the front before, but he's going to have to fight hard against Matt Cucker, a very dominant person, and he's got Christian Peterson right behind him, another dominant person as well in this series.
Pace car headed down this time. Interestingly enough, Cucker wants the outside of the racetrack for this one, so the front row is going to look the same. Although different cars are going to be in control. The 69 is technically your race leader as we come to turn number 4. John Lyday is so close he can taste it, but it's a bad restart. And Matt Cucker is gone for the race lead. Battle for second. Also, you see that number 62 machine of William Hale up at the outside of the racetrack. He made that transition from fourth up to second, and this is exactly, Trevor, what I was talking about with Lyday down low, is he may not obviously get the race lead right out of the gate, but this is where he's going to struggle. There's going to be contact, and there goes John Lyday. The caution was out. It was not for that. There was a wreck further back in the field, but John Lyday, the car who was so strong through the opening half of this race, so close to a first career win, wrecks out at lap number 68. That all happened as Connor Hall in the 97 car wrecked. That was a separate incident between the 97 and the 2.
Oh, my heart just breaks for John Lyday. He had such a good run and just wrong place, wrong time. Christian Peterson got up into that number 62 machine of William Hale coming out of turn 4. William really had nowhere else to go. He was going down to the bottom, and unfortunately John Lyday was right there and just got shoved into that outside, or inside wall rather. And, you know, as you said, the caution was out for a different incident, and I saw the caution come out, but I didn't see something, so I didn't think that something was right, but oh, just a heartbreak for him.
A tough break, obviously, for the cars that involved in the accident originally, and then, of course, for that secondary incident with John Lyday, and maybe you could chalk that one up to a little bit of the commentator's curse, but he was having such a great run, and it was competition yellows, as always. Make sure that we don't go to more than 40 laps uninterrupted, and it leads us to that yellow and subsequent couple of restarts, and we'll move inside of 30 laps to go. Something tells me we've got a couple more of them up our sleeves. Whenever you get some late race yellows at Bristol, you don't tend to buck that trend and all of a sudden go 30 all the way to the end.
Yeah, it's just the usual thing of cautions breed cautions, and unfortunately John Lyday is on the receiving end of that as well. So John Lyday, the 6th driver to be out of this race, as Christian Pearson was given an EOL penalty, apparently. I, at the moment, am not sure why, but that will be figured out as soon as possible. So John Lyday has decided to retire the car and just wait until the next race if he does participate in the next race after this. So it's quite unfortunate that Lyday was involved in that. Again, he had a great run with about 40 laps led, I believe. So probably going to be the driver with the most laps led, at least aside from Matt Cucker.
Yeah, Matt Cucker, somebody else who has had a very good showing as always here in the Cars eSport Tour. He came into tonight 4th in the Super Late Model Championship standings. 13 points out of the top spot. When we transition to the second race of the evening, he will be the leader in that late model stock championship when we get to that point, already with 2 wins. So he's looking for a second win in this division so far as well. So the season's still young. Couple of drivers who are off to a very good start to the season, looking to continue that as we work into the middle portions of it. We'll get to next time out, couple of weeks time, as the series transitions over to New Smyrna and Charlotte on June the 13th, and at that point we'll be halfway through the championship. So you got to keep in mind that you don't really have a lot of opportunities to miss out maybe, and that was a really tough pill to swallow for Lyday, who was looking like he may have been having his breakthrough race weekend. The pace car is going to be in this time. He gets set to go back into green flag racing conditions. Matt Cucker again in control, wants the outside. How about William Hale? Can the 62 machine be the dark horse in this one? They'll come side by side at a turn 4. Much better jump for the 62 that we saw at Lyday.
Number 62 of Hale really staying side by side with Cucker, trying to get to the side, but Cucker just had it too wound up on that high side. Now you see the number 57 of Seth the Merchant really trying to take advantage of that high side. Hale trying to stick with him, but won't be able to get the job done. Falls from 2nd to 3rd. Gonna have to find a way up into that high side. There he goes. Tommy Ryan right behind him, starting from 23rd and already up towards the front. I told you to keep an eye on him, and here he is, along with John Olet right behind him.
Yeah, Olet in a good position as well, and the good news for Cucker is, though, he's been able to clear for the race lead to merge it up to 2nd. Hale falls to 3rd, as noted. And then you find Ryan and Olet in line. There's going to be contact. The 81 machine of Olet, I think he clipped over the right rear quarter panel just a little bit, and it almost sent Tommy Ryan out for going off the quarter, but hit him again. John Olet is not backing away from anything, and he says, if you're into my line, well, then you're going to know I'm there.
Right behind them, I saw Jeremy Adams get loose coming out turn number 2. This is definitely Bristol at its best right here, as Of course, it produces amazing racing. We're going to see if John Ouellette can get by Tommy Ryan, but at the moment doesn't seem like it. All over the back bumper, however, was Cole Cabry all over the back bumper of Ryan Doucette, and he still is for the most part just riding right behind him now. He wants to get by.
Wants to get by, and obviously running out of time. There are going to be no more competition yellow, so if we were to stay green, we're going to the end in this super late model main event. The Cars eSport Tour from Bristol. Ryan Doucette's number 77 is under attack. That's the 99 of Cabry, Jerry Adams, Jake Watson, all a couple of cars up on top of each other. That 99 of Cabry, though, again, not happy with his performance early. Big sweeping move to the inside. He'll go for the slide job. Sideways off of the corner, and Doucette crosses him over and takes the spot back, and now the 89 car. Jeremy Adams puts the 99 in the fence.
The intensity is just wrapping up. We have 20 laps to go, less than 20 laps to go, and they're all trying to fight for position. The number 88 of Watson gives a little tap to the number 89 Adams coming off of that corner as well, trying to find every single inch of the track to use. 89 starting at the top, exiting at the bottom. This is definitely just getting more and more exciting as the race wears on, and we have a battle for P6 going on right in front of us. The number 89 and 99 are still going at it. Cabry trying to hold that high line, while the number 89 of Adams just tries to get around him. You see the number 77 as well in front of him. That's Doucette. Just 15 laps to go next time by.
Only car you see side by side right now is the 78 of Corey Heim, and that car's all kinds of sideways. Almost came up in front of Christian Peterson at a battle for 10th position. Also nice and tight real estate between Hale, Ron, and Ouellette, 3, 4, and 5. But they have yet to be rubbing on each other like we're seeing a little bit further back in the pack. You're really starting to see, Gary, though, these cars have been beat up. They've bounced off of the wall a couple dozen too many times, maybe. The tires are starting to get exhausted. Again, no opportunities to come down and get fresh rubbers, so these race cars are not going to be driving good.
Yeah, position number 3, Tommy Ryan to the inside right now for 3rd place. As William Hale bounced off the corner, at least bounced off the wall in turns 3 and 4 last time around. This time around, he makes it clean. The laps are closing down, and everybody's scrambling for whatever position they can. Tommy Ryan now finally side by side, essentially for the most part. Just has a nose in under the left rear quarter panel, and you can see how close that number 62 is, and loose off the corner was William Hale, and he still manages to hang on to it. Tommy Ryan cannot get by.
Is not going to be able to get on to by, and now look at the 6 car up the inside, the 62 of Hale. We are side by side for 3rd. Keep in mind, with 12 laps to go, as Tommy Ryan completes the pass on Hale, the battle for the race lead is not over with. Matt Kunker still leads, Seth the Merchant still trails him, but it's only about a 0.2 of a second difference. Those two drivers cannot seem to get away from each other. Something tells me the Merchant's got something in the back pocket as we come into the end here.
Yeah, Tommy Ryan trying to set sail, and Seth the Merchant, you see just Seth the Merchant really getting close on every single corner entrance, and then Matt Kunker able to pull away a little bit more coming out of the corner, but Tommy Ryan's going to have some time to make up, a little more than a second, and he also has William Hale and John Ouellette right behind him. Now the number 81 of Ouellette trying to get around Hale. He's really not really caring about the car in front. He's just trying to get around him, and I'm really enjoying this kind of race. And this is short track racing at its finest with less than 10 to go. It's just getting more and more exciting, Evan.
It's getting more and more excited, and again, the clock continues to wind down. Inside of 10 to go now. I'm still keeping a half eye up front. The battle's yet to happen. How about side by side for P6? Christian Peterson is either going to get that spot or he's going to fall to 8th position. It'll be the first option. The 23 of Peterson gets by the 77 of Doucette. He takes over that number 6 spot, and Adams and Doucette now left to fight between who will end up 7th and 8th position, and Doucette unable to defend top side on Peterson does use the outside to stay in front of Jeremy Adams for the moment. Plenty of side-by-side stuff going on. The 78 of Corey Hahn, the 54 of Charlie Melvin throughout the pack, battling for everything that they've got left. But this time by only 5 to go on the scoring pylon.
Yeah, 5 to go, and right now John Ouellette finally gets his way around. William Hale closes the door. Hale with the crossover on the back straightaway. And look at who's caught up to this mouse. Christian Peterson now joins in on this. As, well, there goes William Hale loose off of turn number 4. Christian Peterson to the inside now for P number 4 on John Ouellette. And can he clear him coming off of turn number 2? Not as of yet. And into turn number 3. Now he clears him. as he come off of turn number 4. And unfortunately, more bad luck for Cole Cabri. He spun out just a few laps ago, and it's quite unfortunate for him. But right now, the lead is still brewing for that battle.
And again, there's a lot going on track, but I can't help but feel Divergent's going to go for something here. We're 3 wide, back in the pack for 6th, 7th, and 8th position. But Seth Divergent is making a play for the race lead. This time by, there's going to be 2 laps left to go from Bristol, and he's on the bumper. Matt Cucker tripping. Does he bump or does he stay behind?
You know, it's really tough to call. We'll see what happens. You see Adams just trying to get around him. You see him go to the low side. He's running up the hill a little bit, but able to keep it down. Hale really just trying to get around him. Checking up front. No battles just yet. Hale really getting to the top side. Winding it up quite a bit. Able to get a good run off the backstretch. Final lap to go here, Evan.
Final time in 3 and 4. Divergent drives it in. He's going to go for the big run off of turn number 4, but he cannot do it. And Matt Cucker defends and wins from Bristol in the Cars eSport Tours Super Late Models, 2nd win on the year for the driver of the number 69 machine, and he will close in on the championship after holding off Seth Divergent. That 57 sat there, patiently waited, Gary, and he did go for that move. You saw on board with him in the final quarter, but he was about a half a car length short, and to be fair, probably could have bumped him, probably could have wrecked him if he wanted to. It didn't come to that, though, so it was clean racing to the end, and now the 57 has to sit parked on the front straightaway and watch Matt Cucker do the celebrating.
Yeah, I think in a way, though, for Seth the Merchant, that's his way of showing Matt Cucker some a bit of on-track respect, because usually, I'm pretty sure you expect somebody to try the bump and run maneuver, and of course it's Bristol, so I would too, honestly, but that was a very good sportsmanship there by Seth the Merchant to not use the bumper and just to try his best to get around.
Let's take a look top to bottom at your LSR TV full race results in this one. Again, super lates from Bristol. Race winner Matt Cucker, again, 2nd of the year for him. He went pole to checkers, but it was a little bit more of an eventful evening than that for him. Much better in the second half than he was in the first half as he goes on to take the win this evening. Seth the Merchant comes home in 2nd, and Tommy Ryan comes home in 3rd. Interestingly enough, Cucker goes pole to checkers. DeMerchant goes mid-pack, 12th to 2nd, and Ryan went from all the way in the back in 23rd to 3rd, so 3 very different stories on your podium tonight. Christian Peterson just misses out on those festivities. He comes home in 4th position. John Ouellette comes home in 5th. Ryan Doucette ends up P6. 7th is William Hale. Jeremy Adams is able to pick up to P8. Corey Heim is 9th. And Charlie Melvin cracks the top 10 at the end.
Starting P25, but finishing 11th, Jake Watson. P12 going to go to Trayton Lapovich. P13 going to go to Andrew Wooten. P14, Brandon Wilkinson. P15, Joe Brucetti. P16 going to Cole Cabri. P17 and the last car on the lead lap, Jeremy Watkins. P18, Connor Hall. Rafe Slate finishes P19th, and John Lyday finishes P20.
That'll just round things out here as well. I mean, you know, 21st position, Scott Austin, Anthony Sergi in 22nd. All of these drivers, you're talking about 40-plus laps down and out of this race. Robbie Bundan, 23rd. Dawson Fletcher, 24th. And Chip Dickerton, 25th. Is a look top to bottom at your LSR TV full race results. Let's go trackside chat with the race winner tonight. Matt Cucker gets the job done in the super late models from Bristol. Trackside with the driver of the 69 machine. Matt, congratulations on the win. You guys started up front. We knew that you would be competitive, no doubt. But in that early going there, it was a different driver who had taken over the race lead in this one and kind of started to put it to you. John Lyday was having a whale of a run for him, leading the most laps that we've seen out of him in this series, and nearly got to about 2 seconds in front of you by the time we got to that competition yellow break at lap 55. And then it seemed like when we restarted in the second half, you guys flipped the switch. Were you conserving a lot there early to be able to make that push later? Or was it just a matter of just how that restart kind of gives you a little bit of an extra juice?
I was conserving, and so was Christian behind me. We were just conserving, and John's in TeamSpeak saying, I'm conserving too. And me and Christian were like, there's no way he can be conserving that much as we were, because we were lifting way early, and he was just driving off. And, I mean, I got to thank John anyway. He's the one who came up with the setup this week, and with a couple of tweaks for my kind of driving, and it actually paid off. And I was really surprised that we were able to run up front, especially after the Q, because we were 2 tenths off in Q. I was like, oh, it's going to be a terrible race, and then it turned out that the race we were perfect.
Obviously figured something out inside, outside. We saw drivers able to make it work on both ends of that spectrum. They were on restarts, on the passes. Where'd you think that 69 was fastest?
It would have to be right in the middle, because, I mean, I couldn't run the bottom. And then if I ran up top, I'd get really, really tight. So it had to be the middle, and I'd have to arc it down on exits just so I wouldn't get too tight and hit the wall coming off. So the bottom, it would be too loose if I'd come up off because I would have too much wheel in it, and the top, I'd be too tight. So it was mostly the middle that I was trying to run the whole race.
You came into tonight in attack mode in the Super Late Models, fourth of the championship, only 13 points back, though, so your second win in these cars are going to definitely help out. You're now going to transition into the Late Model stocks where you're playing defense already as the championship leader and already with 2 wins on the year. How do you weigh your odds in both of these divisions? You're looking pretty sporty.
At a Super Late Model, it's always hit or miss every week. I've just been feeling like I haven't had the luck in it, so I mean, I really don't look forward to running the Super Late every week that we do run. I'd rather run the Late Model stock, but I mean, it's always a blast coming and racing with these guys. So we're just going to try and do our best in Super Late Model as the weeks come. And Late Model stock, I believe I'm starting last because I won two times in a row. So we'll see what happens.
That's a sweet look at number 60 on the machine. We're taking a look at Matt, who makes it go so fast.
I thank Team Vince here, Scott Austin Designs, Globalcom, I analyze 6-man race cars, and this whole group of guys at Team Vince here. It's amazing. You guys are putting on a show, and Kyle Barnes for putting this together.
We appreciate your time, Matt. Always fun to watch you to race on a Wednesday night. Congratulations on the win. Best of luck. Another 100 laps coming up.
Alrighty, thank you.
Race winner in the Super Late Model, Seth the Merchant, comes home in second place. Oh, so close to making a late race push. He comes up just 1/10 of a second off in P2. Trackside with him is Trevin.
Down here with number 57 of Seth the Merchant. Seth, you know, you had such a great night, starting 12th and finishing P2. How'd you get it done with only 4 tires on the car?
Pretty much just ran my own race, saved tires first 80 laps of the race, and I committed to running the bottom for almost the entire race there until the end when it was down to me and Matt. Just trying to keep the right front on it and the right rear on exits, and just not enough time. Very hard to pass here, and me and Matt were running within hundredths of each other every single lap, and just glad we get a 1-2 though.
Coming from tracks that are moderate to low banking, how different was this coming to a higher banking track?
For me, really not that different because I run these kind of tracks. These are more of the tracks that I'm better at. The ones that like the NASCARs go to on a pretty much daily basis. I struggle on the flatter ones, so to me this is good, and yeah.
Well, great run by you. Who gets that number 57 done?
Just all the guys at Vince Racing, John Lide for coming up with the setup tonight, and Peterson Irrigation for being on the car, and 6-man.
That's number 57 of Seth the Merchant, finishing second, Evan.
Center, I was letting it turn down.
Well, we are here with third place finisher Tommy Ryan in the number 6. Tommy, you went from 23rd all the way to 3rd in the amount of 100 laps. What happened there? Because on those final laps, you managed to get by William Hale and hold off John Ouellette at the same time.
Yeah, I've been getting a little bit of help, but for the most part, man, I just didn't get a whole lot of practice, and I just needed to watch where, typically where the fast guys were running, where their entry, exits, and all that stuff was, and start testing the waters a little bit, and freaking car was flying, man. That was a lot of fun passing all that. Missed a couple wrecks, but overall, man, it was a real solid night, man. I had a blast, obviously, coming from near the back all the way to near the front.
Yeah, you've done an amazing job making your way through that field, especially with the good amount of cautions there. Did that mess up your rhythm any?
No, the only thing that really messed me up, man, I wasn't expecting all that wheel spin on that late restart. And I think everybody jumped sideways, and luckily I was able to keep it under control, and the guys around me the same. I didn't get caught up in that mess. But no, I mean, once you got going, you kind of knew what to expect. tires cool off, you don't have too much forward bite when you get into the corners, and then it would kind of hook up and you get your rhythm and put your head down and let it roll. But yeah, thanks to Six Man, they've been helping me out a little bit. Christian and those guys over there, so it's fun, man. It's fun.
Well, along with them, is there anyone else that makes it happen for you in that number 6?
Yeah, absolutely. DJ Beverly and Coastal Safety Auditors, and longtime sponsor Northern Tool and Equipment. And I know DJ's dad, Kenny Rogers, at home on the couch cheering for me, so I know that was fun for him. But other than that, man, thanks for Kyle and you guys putting the show on, man. It's fun place.
Yeah, simply amazing to watch. Tommy Ryan, congratulations on your 3rd place finish.
All right, guys. Hope to get another podium, man. Get back in here and talk to you guys soon enough.
That's a chat with our top 3 finishers. Big thanks to Matt Kunker, who gets the win in this one, Seth the Merchant, Tommy Ron, and everybody else who always gives us some time post-race. Your super lates are done. The late model stocks still to come from the Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll take a quick opportunity to step aside. When we come back, we reset and we go racing. 100 laps still to go. You're watching the Coliseum 200, part of LSR TV's continuing coverage of the Championship eSports Association Cars eSport Tour on your home for sim racing and iRacing Live. We'll be back in just a moment. Back live from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Sun's gone down, lights have come on as we welcome you back into the LSR TV booth. Myself, Evan Pasoko, Trevor Valderrama, Gary Weaver with you upstairs with Cisco Scaruza down in the production trailer. Matt Cucker took home the win moments ago in our super late model main event, and he is going to close in on what was into tonight a 13-point deficit that he faced in the championship standings from the 4th spot. Tonight, though, as we transition to the late model stock 100-lap main event, part of the Coliseum 200. Trevin, Matt Cucker is the guy at the top that everybody's chasing. As we look at the late model stock standings, Matt Cucker leads it all, 11-point advantage over Christian Peterson. It's a lot of familiar faces. Tommy Ryan, Devin Morgan, Brandon Wilkinson, the top 5, but I'm curious to see, as these guys have already had an opportunity to tussle with each other, if we see that continue and maybe get a little bit more aggravated is the right word into this one, though, especially nighttime racing at Bristol. Pretty hard to beat it.
I'd say any kind of racing at Bristol, it's hard to beat it because Bristol is such a fantastic track, always great battles all around the track. You know, at least 2 different lines happening on this track at once. You know, bottom line, you have a better run or a better, entrance into that corner, but on that top side, you wind it up and you send it off that exit. But, you know, Matt Cucker leading the point standings and winning the previous 2 races, he's going to get kicked all the way to the back of the pack for the start of this race. So, you know, he's going to have to fight he's going to fight hard to get to the front of the pack. But really, he won that last race just moments ago, as he pointed out. So that's going to give him a lot of confidence booster into this race.
We'll see just how confident he can exactly be. And again, just confirming that Matt Cucker is going to have to start at the back due to the 2-win rule. So he will serve that this time by, which is why that you'll see Matt Cucker uncharacteristically all the way at the back. 2 wins, you get dropped to the back per Cars Tour policy. Cars, though, headed trackside. Gary, let's go down and take a look at your LSR TV starting grid. 5 at a time. Derek Paulson will start on pole position for these 100 laps at number 4 Chevrolet. Connor Hall alongside starts in 2nd. Todd Novastad and Joe Burchett will roll off at row 2. They're 3rd and 4th respectively, and Brandon Wilkinson rounds out your top 5.
Christian Peterson starts in 6th place in that number 23. Robbie Bunden starts in 7th to his outside. Reed Rundell starts in 8th, the middleman in that little 10-car group. Christian Murphy starting 9th, and 10th, Jeremy Adams.
11th goes to Roy Blum. 12th goes to Tommy Ryan, a familiar face. Sean Cross starts P13. P14, Jeremy Watkins. P15 goes to Scott Austin.
And to round things out, Cam Davidson will start 16th. Dwight Beverly is 17th. Jonathan Logan, 18th. And Matt Cucker, if you're up for a challenge, let's see what the 69 car can do. 19th on the grid in this late model stock main event. The good news, guys, is the track has not changed since last time out. Still the same racetrack, 26 to 30 to race the banking. But a big difference is, I think, just the aura of running at Bristol Motor Speedway under the lights. We're happy that you're always with us on Wednesday nights at LSR TV and iRacing Live. But next time by, we're coming to the green flag. So, Gary, do we see a more contentious race than what we saw earlier? Or maybe because the drivers have already gone through one, it's going to be a little bit more calm because they've got a little bit more confidence?
I'd say it's going to be a little bit more calm, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw drivers starting to make moves a little bit earlier on, especially, like you mentioned, under the lights here. It's absolutely amazing, a different aura. Gives a little bit more of an excitement, too, and a little bit more adrenaline, so that's what I expect here for tonight's race.
Pace car going to head down to the safety of the pit lane this time around. Let's go late model stock racing from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Pace car in. Paulson's going to have to wait on the drop of the green as they come to turn number 4. There's the green flag off and away for the second half of the Coliseum 200. Side by side for the race lead. Bottom was the place to be early in the SLMs in the daytime. It'll be the place to be early up front. The 4 of Paulson to the race lead. But here comes Burchett from 4th trying to go to the race lead. He'll end up in 2nd.
That number 97 of Hall really got loose coming out of turn 2, so that number 4 of Paulson and the number 26 of Burchett really took advantage of that, and now Hall has fallen all the way to 3rd place with the number 23 of Peterson looking to take that 3rd place position right behind him. First battle got going on track is the number 34 and 43 of Rundle really running that high line, and now leaving number 34 of Novosad in the dust. 89 trying to do the same thing as well.
Oh,
It gets into the
89
wall.
into the wall. Yeah, saw that right there. Jeremy Adams smacked the wall pretty good. I know it's Bristol, and you can get away with hitting the wall a couple of times. That was a pretty good lick for the 89 of Adams. He recovers. Todd Novosad was really struggling on the inside of the racetrack area. He gets up top, and he's really struggling up on the outside of the racetrack. And Novosad into the outside wall of the 34. Just seems like he's not at all comfortable. Very precautious in the corner, kind of tiptoeing through. And it's going to cost him, well, by the time the 80 and the 41 get by him, nearly 10 spots in 5 laps.
Yeah, he almost hit the wall coming off of turn number 4 as well. He's entering just a little bit too high. There he goes into the wall again in turns 1 and 2, and just barely after number 2. I believe he hit the wall, just barely scraped it at the very least. But it's something that Todd Novosad doesn't really want early on. That's the line exit that he wants right there, though. So the middle, at least the middle of the track, and just a low entry into the corners to stay away from that wall. It's pretty obvious that he's changed his line as of now to avoid hitting that wall any longer. But it's Bristol, so you can't really escape that outside wall for far too long.
You can only get away with so much. Again, you can scrape the wall. We've seen, the sparks fly. I think it'll look a lot nicer under the lights as you see some drivers get up top, but you can't be bouncing off of the outside of the racetrack. So, again, watching these drivers make that transition from the bottom of the racetrack early to the top of the racetrack as this race goes on, somewhat similar to what we saw earlier on. Side-by-side battle now for second. It's Connor Hall on the attack. The 97 did not have a very good first lap. He just got really tight at a turn 2. Had the lift, and there's going to be contact. He and Burchett get together, and he ushers the 26 up and out of the way. That's not how you make friends 10 laps in.
Burchett really trying to get back to the back bumper of him. I don't know if that's going to be sitting well with him, or especially early on in this race. Only lap 11, coming to lap 12. But Derek Paulson still liking the battling behind him, because that's going to be able to force his way up closer to the front. And also, Matt Cucker has already built himself up into 14th position, so really just looking for him to have a good finish tonight. Coming all the way from the back there, number 89 got really loose into that corner, and he's going to be losing more positions and trying just to recover.
Well, you can hope for, but Paulson now under attack in a battle for the race lead. Here we go. Connor Hall to the inside of the racetrack, easy in the 26 as well of Burchett, also going to get on through. So Derek Paulson, you put together a rough couple of corners, and you're going to go for the race lead to third, just like that. Connor Hall, though, magnificent job, and Burchett into the outside wall. I don't know what happened to the 26. I think he got sideways, and that car overcorrected up into the wall. And that's not the first time we've seen the 26 do that. So absolute madness in the opening 15.
Yeah, that number 26 was doing fine, and then he just slid sideways entering turns 1 and 2, and then completely lost it. I saw the A9 Jeremy Adams hit the wall entering turn number 1 once again. A little bit of a good distance between third and fourth, and then a little bit of good distance between fourth and everybody else right behind Christian Pearson, who's sitting in fourth right now, side by side. This was side by side as Tommy Ryan now makes his way up into that 5th place position past Brandon Wilkinson. Jimmy Adams on the high side with the 34, with the 43 on the inside of Rundell. Rundell can't quite get it done as of yet.
And Rundell, somebody else who has had a little bit of an up and down night. You can see the 89 of Adams, though, the one who's really dropping it backwards. Reed has done a good job again. A little bit of a rocky start. Get his legs underneath him, and he's not going to win in this battle quite yet. It's a great run off of the corner. Again, Jeremy Adams has a good car on the 89 machine, but getting into the outside wall again never is going to make your night easier. He got eclipsed by Tommy Ryan. Ryan now kind of leads that charge. The drivers from the back of the packet. Oh, by the way, Matt Cucker, might as well keep you updated on the 69 machine. Started 19th. He's going to put a pass on Rory Plum right now for 11th. So he's starting to get up there again. If we stay green, competition caution at lap 40 would give him an opportunity to kind of group everybody back up.
That number 26 machine is really making a good, rebound. He's up to second now, passing Derek Paulson, and he's going to try and set sail on Connor Hall, really trying to get back to that P1 position. 20 laps to that competition caution if we do go green all that way. So we'll see how that goes. Just keep in mind, the number 4, Paulson, still trying to keep pressure on Burchett. Trying so hard, and 100 laps seems like a while at a track, but this track it will go by in a blink of an eye. We just had 30 minutes with the late model or the super late models, so who knows how long this would take here.
And just looking at Connor Hall now, he's checked out, almost a picture-perfect recreation of what we saw earlier as you were talking about that SLM race, that it was Lade 1.5 seconds in front. A little bit of a rough go that time around for Hall, though, so Burchett's going to keep it in to closer than that, and a caution flag is out. It's the 0-2 of Dwight Beverly. Yellow flag at lap number 22. He was up into the outside wall, and then I saw Jeremy Watkins come in and get a piece of that, so maybe some cause for concern out of the 90 camp if he got damaged in that one, but that was the battle for 15th position gone wrong. Jonathan Logan hard into the corner, much faster car, but didn't really give him an opportunity to get out of the way. Gave him a shot in the center of the corner, and he wasn't able to hang on. Beverly goes around for the first caution flag of the afternoon.
Yeah, first caution here, and it looks like it's just one of those moments where you have the momentum going to the inside. Looks like the 0-2 went up just a little bit to either let him by or at least protect. Logan tries to go low, and then there wasn't really enough room for Logan to scrape by on the inside. So unfortunately, he just got into the back bumper and turned Beverly straight around into the outside wall.
You will see Logan's going to be hit with the end of the longest line penalty. First time it's the EOL, second time it is a black flag and the end of your evening if you are deemed as the cause of the caution. Race control handing down that penalty to the 15 of Jonathan Logan. So the yellow flag here obviously going to mean that we're going to close things back in and maybe drivers have an opportunity to catch their breaths. It was quite a spontaneous and erratic opening lap there, Trevin. The one thing to keep in mind, though, is we're at lap 25 now, I believe. By the time we restart this race, may no longer be in that window for competition cautions to still be in effect. We'll have to wait to see the exact number in which when we do get the green flag on this one, but it could be close. So that's something you got to consider up front. There's no strategy. Same rules apply as earlier in the SLMs. The Hoosier Racing tires that you've got on the car now are what you're going to be taking either the victory lane or back to the trailer at the end of the night. So it's really just about working yourself through these restarts here, and I think just finding some sort of stability, because even the fastest cars up front don't look that dialed in. Everybody's making mistakes.
Yeah, this is obviously a tough track to compete on, and we're seeing it a lot here tonight. Cars are getting into the wall, cars getting sideways, and it's a hard track to keep track of. But Matt Cucker really just coming from 19th all the way up to P11. This restart's really going to help him advance his way up into the further rankings of this field. So, really good night for him so far. But we'll have to see how these other cars fare.
Doubled up this time, lights already out on top of the pace car, so we're going to go back into green flag racing conditions. In this one, 27 laps going to be complete. Despite how chaotic that opening stint was, still somewhat feel like these late model stocks, the start to this race feeling a little bit slower than what we saw earlier tonight in the SLMs. Pace car in this time, Connor Hall in control for the inside of the front row. In the Bernardi 7 car down low, white with the pink numbers, green flag in the air. Burchett, though, is going to beat him to the start-finish line. Shouldn't be a concern if the Donnie 7 can hook it up at the bottom. He does. He'll slide up top and defend. 26 wants to fight, though. How about a crossover and side-by-side for the race lead?
Amazing crossover by Burchett. Can't get it done on the inside, but looking to the outside, or at least was looking to the outside, was Christian Peterson now. Side by side with number 4, contact in the back. Around goes the 43 of Reed Rundell. Heavy damage, and oh man, nearly making the bye. Was the 87 of Christian Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy went low to avoid it, and that's where the 43 machine spun down the racetrack, and that was almost a catastrophic incident. It all started with the 43 and the 41, and Sean Cross a little bit up off of the outside wall, but he's pretty much in line with everybody else up top. I think Rundell was just struggling a little bit to hold that car down in line, or maybe thought that he was clear with the 41 machine, and that contact is going to send the 43 car around. You saw Matt Cucker right there. Might have got a small piece of the back end of the 41, if anything. But he does a good job of avoiding that wreck. I guess wreck avoidance is the word and term I'm looking for. And to echo what Gary was saying, Trevin, that 87 to Christian Murphy almost guessed wrong. He went low, and then a belt put him right in line to T-bone those cars. Luckily for him, he slowed down. That's a key thing when there's a wreck in front of you to get on the brakes, and Murphy's going to be okay also.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you gotta guess. It's a guessing game when there's a wreck in front of you. You know, you never know what way it's gonna go. You kind of have an idea, but then again, you don't know what the driver's doing inside of that vehicle. And very, very close for the number 87, Christian Murphy. Very lucky as well. You know, obviously this is a very high bank track, so you know whatever comes up must go down. You know, this was obviously a scenario for what just happened in this wreck, and you know, I don't think we're going to be able to see that competition caution as you were pointing out at lap 40, because we're already on lap 32 and probably restarting on 34, so we'll have to wait.
And of course, as always, when we have a small moment of opportunity to kind of catch your breath in this one, I want to remind you that coverage of the Cars eSport Tour on LSR TV is brought to you by Joel Real Timing, the official timing software of LSR TV. Whether you spend your time on the sim, behind the wheel, on the pit box, or from the spotter stand, JRT is the go-to software for iRacing timing and scoring analytics. You can get yourself a basic free download or buy the full pro version today by logging on to joel-real-timing.com for more information. Just looking up front, the lights on top of the pace car are going to be going out here shortly, and we're going to get set to go back into green flag racing conditions. Gary, kind of what we saw to the latter end of the SLM one is the yellow and a couple of quick restarts. We're seeing it now much earlier on than we saw, though, in the prior race.
Yeah, this could be essentially a reverse of the Super Late Model race that we saw before. Cautions early on, and then a full green flag run instead of a green flag run and then cautions late in the race. So hopefully that's how it's going to play out. And that's definitely how it appears to be this way right now. But I'm seeing Christian Peterson now in third place. We haven't really seen him, at least in the top portion of this race, all too much. But he is there in third, restarting in third on the inside. So I expect him to probably give the bumper just a little bit to Burkett on the restart here.
Restart is going to be with 35 laps complete. So, as always, as procedure, again, 40 laps to a competition yellow unless it is inside of the final 25 laps of this race. 40 laps from now, we'll be at 26 laps to go. So there is still the possibility of a lap 74 competition caution if it comes to that. Or, though, we could have a couple of restarts between now and then like we saw on that short last run. Getting set for the green flag. Burchett, first time the 26 car. Going to be able to challenge it right from up front, and he'll actually win the drag race to the line. All's going to have the advantage down low. Watch the 97 hook up. But that 23 of Peterson may be the fastest car as he tries to come into second.
That next battle is between the number 89 of Adams and the number 4 of Paulson, trying to get around each other, but that number 89 is going to take advantage, taking that top 5 position. The 56 gets into the wall a little bit. That's Wilkinson, while 23 of Peterson's really trying to find a way around that number 26 machine of Burchett. You know, it's really hard battling going around on the track between Tommy Ryan and Derek Paulson as well. That's your P1 starter just falling back ever so quickly, and right behind him, look who it is, Matt Cucker, trying to get all the way from the back to the front to win himself a third in a row.
He's trying to get up into this mix here, and the 69 car has caught a little bit of thick traffic. That's good for him, though. Again, these restarts are good for the 69 machine because, Gary, you can be fast at the back, but by the time you get to the top 10, by the time you get to the top 5, you're going to be way off for the race leaders. So Cucker does need some of these restarts to be able to get, 3-4 spots in 20 laps or so, but he's got to execute. Look at everybody, I mean everybody up to the outside. Well, he goes down low. He has to go against the field, if you will, if he's going to get around him, try to make something work on the inside.
Yeah, trying to follow right behind him is 80 of Robbie Bunden as well in the process, and almost coming up, but right now, that's a Matt Cucker strategy right now. I don't doubt that I don't doubt these restarts are helping him, because they definitely do seem to be helping in a separate way, because right now he's at the moment battling for 6th place with Tommy Ryan on the outside. Tommy Ryan just not really being held up, trying to somehow retain that position as best as possible. A little bit loose up turn number 4, but Matt Cucker definitely, he would most likely need at least one more restart to get back up into the top 3, or at least up to 1st place once he can get that done. So leading this pack right now is Wilkinson. He has a low exit coming up the corner. I feel like he may change that once Cucker gets right alongside him.
Yeah, the 69 is going to definitely take that line away from Wilkinson, and Matt's doing a very good job down low there. Got around Paulson, and then Ryan, and the 80 Donovan of Adams, and trying to get around to Brandon Wilkinson, which is basically the last car in that big pack that I was talking about, Trevor. He's about to get by every single one of them, and on the inside of the racetrack. We talked with Matt after that SLM race, and that he said his car really wasn't good down low, and it wasn't really good way up top. He kind of had to go in the middle, and you see now that he's clear, he's running that middle line like he was earlier. But I'll tell you what, that 69 was looking pretty good down low when he passed 4 cars.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to make yourself small sacrifices. That number 80 machine of Bunden nearly got into the number 89 of Adams. That was very close to making contact and taking each other out in front of 3 other cars. But Matt Cuckard really putting on a clinic here tonight, starting all the way in last again. And, it's just incredible to see him racing now, trying to set him sights on Christian Peterson, that number 56 as well, not really wanting to give up that position so easily.
P2 right now is where the fight's going to be. Christian Peterson in that number 23 machine has been able to get up and around Joe Burchett, and I don't think that 26 car is going to be able to get back on him. And first lap went for a crossover, tried to get down there, but I don't think the driver who started in 4th position is going to be able to get up to Peterson. Peterson would really like to break through and get this one. Just missed out on the podium in that SLM one a little bit earlier on. And, for the 23 car of Peterson right now, improving, comes into tonight 2nd in the late model stock championship. If Cucker stays behind him in 4th, Peterson would close the gap a little bit. He does have a nice distance to Cucker. Cucker's 4 seconds off for the race lead. But again, there is going to be at least a restart left in this race. Could happen from an incident, or it could happen at a competition yellow, which would be slated to be 24 laps from now at lap 74.
Yeah, we did have an incident as well. Sean Cross and Jonathan Logan made a little bit of contact, but right now with the number 89 of Jeremy Adams, he's trying to salvage whatever he can right now, and he's doing an amazing job at that, especially after hitting the wall hitting the outside wall more than enough times necessary for his car, no doubt, but he is still managing to hang in there, currently in 7th place, holding off that number 92 of Cam Davidson right in front of him. He's trying to set his sights on Tommy Ryan, but Davidson to the outside, almost contact after number 4 as Jeremy Adams now on the low side, trying to defend and keep that position as best as possible. But right now, that just doesn't seem to be the case.
Whoa.
A little bit loose with Cam Davidson. That was an amazing save.
Well, it was first an amazing move by him to squeeze up top on Jeremy Adams, and then you saw the big slide there.
Oh, right in front of them.
He ever got out of the
Tommy
gas,
Ryan.
and in front of the 6 and a 56 of Wilkinson around. Caution flag, and more
Paulson.
wrecking now. Wow, there goes Derek Paulson 5 times up and over.
Wow, what an unfortunate break for everybody. As you said, there was going to be 1 incident remaining. Unfortunately, this is what had to happen.
And it all started, Gary, you caught the helmet out of the corner of your eye as we were kind of waiting for something to happen with Davidson. Ryan and Wilkinson to get together. They were side by side into the corner, and it was just a matter of the 6 car not diving into the corner as early as I think Brandon thought he was. They get together, and the 56 car sideways, the 6 is sideways, and then they get into each other back on the apron. The yellow flag comes out, and then the 4 car gets on the brakes to avoid Wilkinson. That was Paulson, who got turned by Bunden. They were only doing about 80 miles an hour when that contact happened, but it sent the 4 up and over for a wild ride.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Just action all over the place, and well, that's just hard racing right there, no doubt. Tommy Ryan was most likely trying to squeeze the Wilkinson up just a little bit. Wilkinson entered a little bit lower than he expected. Jeremy Adams barely manages to get by that incident as well. But unfortunately, the biggest losers here are Derek Paulson, and most definitely Tommy Ryan.
Yeah, Tommy Ryan, somebody else who has been competitive all night long. You get caught up in that mess. It looks like he has trickled his way down all the way to the back of the running order in tonight's the Coliseum 200, and you notice that it is the same cast of characters more or less in both of these divisions, but of course there are some pretty significant changes between the super late model and the late model stock. This late model stock runs iRacing's Chevy Monte Carlo SS compared to the 5-star body SLM that we see in the super late models. Another big difference, open setups at the start of the night. fixed setups in these late model stocks. It's a heavier car with 370 horsepower, a little bit of a slower top speed in these LMSCs, so they all have their unique quirks and characteristics. And you know, I think that if you're good at one, you're probably going to be good at other just because you're good on the iRacing surface. But I think that the difference in the cars gives somebody like a Connor Hall running in these LMSCs specifically an opportunity to go head-to-head with the Petersons and Cuckers and Adamses and Wilkinsons and all of those kind of names. And I think the 97's in a great spot here. Now we are inside of that point where we're not going to be able to go 40 laps without crossing into the final 25, so the competition cautions are off the table. We didn't see any of them in this late model stock race, unlike what we saw in the super lates earlier. So that's something else to note, is a little bit more yellows in the second race.
Yeah, a little bit more, you know. Obviously this car is, you know, fixed setup, and, you know, these drivers are still, you know, some of these drivers coming off of super late models to this, and some of them are just running late models. But, you know, obviously, you know, they're similar, but they, as you said, they do have their differences. So, you know, it might take a little bit to get used to. But you know, these guys, you know, run these cars day in and day out, basically. You know, a lot of series that we see these other guys in. You know, Matt Cucker, Christian Peterson, Brandon Wilkinson, all these guys. You know, you see just running different series, and you know, we see them dominate week in, week out, and it's just great to see these guys racing and every night, and you see what they come up with. Is obviously Matt Cucker, story of the night, you know, coming all the way from 19th, and then our pole position guy all the way back to 16th with 2 laps down.
Doubled up, set for another late race restart from Bristol. This one comes with 41 laps to go. Green flag gonna fly once more. Good jump inside and out. Has that line moved up enough for Peterson to challenge in 1 and 2 for the outside? No, it's Connor Hall to turn 3.
The inside now is going to be that 26 of Joe Burkett. And 3 wide coming off of turn number 4, at least for a moment, was the 89, the 80, and the 97, or at least the 87 of Christian Murphy. But back up front, Christian Peterson now looking to the inside of Connor Hall. Connor Hall managing to hang on to that lead on the outside as of right now. Don't count that number 26 of Joe Burkett, but look at that number 69 of Matt Cucker to the inside for 3rd place.
Third place right now is where that fight is, and the 23 going to stay up in a defensive position, but he's going to have to decide, does he go up top the block to 26, or does he stay down to watch that 69 to Matt Cucker? Cucker going to stay in 4th for a minute. Now here's the crossover from Burgett, side by side for P2. The 26, I don't think is going to be able to make it stick down low, no, and we'll go back to single file, 1, 2, 3, 4, but throw a blanket over him, plenty still to be determined.
And also that number 92 of Davidson trying to play spoiler, trying to get into this fight as well, making a 5-car battle, that is. And, you know, all these drivers are really bunched up together. It's going to make for a great finish. We have less than 40 to go. Connor Hall still leading the pack out, making a little bit of a gap on Christian Peterson and Joe Burchett. Matt Cucker still trying to battle between these 3 cars in front of him, but trying to find that happy ground for his car. Is, you know, we were talking about it earlier. He couldn't find that happy ground on that top or bottom, so he kind of had to find that middle ground. It seems what he's doing right now, because he's running different lines each corner, not really staying to one. He's kind of finding one. You see him enter a little bit medium and then go up high, then down low. So, you know, different corners call for different lines, and now you see just that 2 different lines prevailing here at Bristol.
And that outside line again is slowly, lap by lap, come more into play. I'm surprised that, you know, Matt Cucker to 69 for being so good down low, and in the middle of the racetrack, as you mentioned, he prefers Gary. Hasn't been able to do anything with Burchett, Peterson, and Hall. We're going to have a battle for the race lead, as here comes CP on the inside of the racetrack, side by side, lap 68. Watch for the run off the corner right there. There's going to be contact, though. Door banging at Bristol.
That's just typical short track racing, and it's very exciting, and they're still side by side. Advantage Connor Hall at the moment, entering turn number 3. Most likely going to play spoiler. It's going to be that number 26 or that 69, or a combination of both. Christian Peterson loose off of turn number 4 on the inside lane. That gives the lead back to this Can-Am Pro East driver of Connor Hall. So it's more of the newcomer versus the veteran of the series, Christian Peterson. And Peterson is still looking to the inside now off of turn number 4. Can't get to the inside, as Connor Hall had protected coming out the corner.
Now we'll try it again. I really thought Peterson was in a great position there, although I knew and I saw that run coming off of the corner for the 97, which again is why it's very difficult to bet against the outside. But when you're up top, that guy on the inside can go up, hit you, kind of bully you, squeeze you into the wall, and at Bristol, I think all of that is fair game. Before they started hitting each other, Trevor, before there was a battle for the race lead, the point I was going to make about Cucker is that I'm surprised he got up to fourth. I don't want to say easily. I don't think that's fair to the cars behind him, but Cucker looked very good on the inside. It looked like he had race-winning speed, passing those 4 or 5 cars off of a restart way down on the inside. But he's kind of gotten stuck in a P4. Now, obviously, closer to the front you get, the faster the cars are, the harder they're going to be to pass. I wonder if he's still conserving a little bit as he gets a run. Here he goes to the inside of Burchett, this one for third.
I don't think he passed them easily, exactly what you said. It's not fair to the other drivers behind him, but, he's bringing that momentum back from what he had, that winning car nearly. Gets a little too loose out of turn 4, but, he's just carrying that momentum over from that winning car and the winning previous week. He's just having such great momentum. He's just bringing that along with him, and, the previous 100 laps, he knows kind of where the good part to run is late in the race, and he's trying to get himself a good finishing position here as the number 15 comes back on track, but really just trying to find himself a good finish here tonight, and obviously having a harder time getting around these cars in front of him.
And this one's starting to get down to crunch time. 23 to go. Big bobble by Matt Cucker there. That was weird how loose that back end got. That looked very similar to an incident we saw earlier on in this race. One car got sideways into the corner, went right up into the outside wall. It may have been Adams, who I'm thinking of, in the 89 machine, although, to be fair, we've seen a couple of drivers get a little bit out of shape. We are fighting the back of the pack right now. The 6-car Orion, the 87 Christian Murphy. There's a couple of these fights all over the place, but a race lead, here we go. Christian Peterson again to the inside of Connor Hall, side by side. 21 laps to go. The 97 sliding off of the corner, but he keeps his foot in it.
I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to use Novus on that 34 as a pick. Loose up on the inside was Pearson. He keeps it down, though, to the inside just ever so slightly. This is going to be communication was key. The 80 gets off the track there. Good move, because this battle is starting to heat up right now, and Christian Pearson, he can get just barely ahead of Connor Hall, and too much. They make contact coming off of turn number 4. Door banging once again.
There's going to be traffic in front. The 72 car running a lap down. Rory Blum's about to get lapped, and he's going to be a pick on the 23.
Oh,
no, he
no.
goes high. The 97 was trying to use Peterson as a pick on the lap car. The lap car went high in front of Hall, and now the 97's angry. He'll drive it in. He gave a shot to Peterson, and somehow Connor Hall is going to recover from that and not be completely out of this thing, as Connor Hall in his Cars eSport Tour debut is giving it to Peterson. More contact in a battle for the race lead.
What a fantastic way to keep yourself in the fight for Hall. Obviously unfortunate timing for that lap car to be right in his way.
Caution. Don't know where it is, but a yellow flag's out. It's the 6. I was expecting to look and see either Peterson or Hall into the outside wall, but this one is Tommy Ryan in the 6, and it's actually going to be a single car spin from 7th position. He had that really abrupt snap sideways. He did a smart thing, though, Gary. Could have overcorrected and taken that car up into the outside wall, but when he realized it was gone, he just locked it down. So a smart play by the 6. Yellow flag does come out, though, and oh boy, Christian Peterson thought he just got away from Connor Hall, and they'll re-rack side by side inside of 15 to go.
This restart is going to be interesting. Oh my goodness. Just from that crossover that Connor Hall had was absolutely amazing, and that instant catch-up, if you will. A little bit of a shot to Christian Peterson. I wouldn't be surprised at all. If I was in the same position, I probably would have done the same thing, just a small shot. Got to the inside, so for Tommy Ryan, though, that was a good idea to just let it spin out to the left-hand side of the inside and just lock it down, risk the chance of a caution, and well, now we have the chance of a very exciting race on our hands. This is where Christian Peterson has to choose the best line so he doesn't give Connor Hall the advantage.
And Connor Hall, I think, has got a little bit of fire lit underneath him, Trevor. Again, it was a tough break with lap traffic. If you're that 72 machine, in theory, you're supposed to go up and out of the way. Any other racetrack, you go high and you let everybody pass, but Bristol, that's kind of the preferred lane, so he was in a tough spot there. The 97 thought he was going to be low, so he went high to kind of force Peterson to brake for the lap car, and it ended up going completely opposite. But Connor Hall there drove miraculously that time off of the corner. I don't think he lifted after the contact, went halfway down onto the apron, got right up to the back bumper of Peterson, maybe overdrove it a little bit, and the 23 did win out in that fight, but I don't think that 97 machine by any means is done.
I don't think so at all. Very fortunate to get this caution flag after what just happened. Roy Blum obviously in a catch-22, but, it is what it is, and that's racing, especially at Bristol with lap cars right in front of you. But fortunately, he's going to get another shot at it with coming to close to 10 laps to go. So it's definitely going to be quite the finish here at Bristol for this final race.
And now the question just becomes, how many laps are going to be left in this one, and how many restarts are we going to get, Gary?
Well, we have 12 laps once we hit the green, provided we get the one-to-go signal this time around, and I don't doubt that. So how many restarts? I'd say at least one more would be under depending if we get to if we stay ahead of the if you will, the point of no return, I believe, as you like to call it, which is about the 5-lap point of this race. So pretty much 5 laps to go. Caution comes out, then the race is over. 6 laps. That depends. It's a bit iffy around there. So Christian Pearson chooses the inside lane this time around. Not sure what to think about this, but it's definitely going to be very interesting. Connor Hall would have to be on his toes right here on this restart.
And this could be it. You could easily go 12 laps to the end, saw a longer run than that to the end of the last one. Let's see if maybe Burchett and Cucker, though, have one last trick up their sleeve as they restart on the second row and third and fourth. But Peterson in control for the inside, Hall in second on the outside. Here we come at a turn number 4. Green flag in the air. 12 laps to go. Dead even to turn 1.
Connor Hall really trying to make amends after what just happened. And the 23 of Christian Peterson really running away with it. The 26 of Burchett trying to take that position away with Matt Cucker trying to play spoiler as well.
Trouble in the back. Ken Davidson spins out to the inside. No caution.
I don't know how the 92 Trevor is the wrong way around back in 12th, but no caution. We're going to stay green. That was a single car incident, so no yellow.
We do have a green-white checkered if ever necessary. Look at who's on top of the back bumper of Connor Hall there. Was that number 69, Matt Cucker. He wants in on this battle right now, but the thing is, he'll have to time it perfect, though. But he's got that number 26 down to his inside.
26 is on the inside, and this is good news, you would think, for Connor Hall, because he's got a straight shot at Peterson. Cucker can't get to him as he and Burchett fight. They've flip-flopped the rows in which inside and out that they were on the restart. Matt Cucker will win that fight. He is now at a race-high P3 with 8 to go.
Just hard battling going on all around the track. You see that high line being that preferred lane, then swooping down to that middle lane, coming off the corner exit. Just every single car from 2 on back really trying to follow the way of Connor Hall, trying to get to that front, not really battling with each other, just working together, make sure we can get to the front. But once you get to see that 3 to go, 2 to go, Matt Cucker's probably going to take advantage of that. You see him just hanging that back, and now that 26 of Burchett trying to get to that bottom side with the number 97 of Hall, seeing that happen, so he moves down to that bottom to block just in case he gets there. Very smart move by Hall.
I'll always keeping an eye in the rearview mirror, but the more you're looking at Matt Cucker, the less you're looking at Christian Peterson, and I think that, Gary, the 23 machine has really put his foot down now. I really thought that Connor Hall would be in a good position to challenge. I think he had the drive, and again, maybe that was him just driving like a maniac and a madman there at the end of the last run, but I really thought he'd be up there. Peterson's got a half a second advantage, and we are now inside of that point to no return with less than 5 laps left to go, so a yellow would end it.
Yeah, I believe we do have a green-white checker just in case, though, but this battle essentially from first has now became a battle for second place. Cucker, no doubt, like I believe Trevin mentioned, is that Cucker right now is waiting, and he's got 3 more laps to do this as of right now to get that move for second place. Fastest driver on the track right now is Christian Pearson in that number 23, and nearly equal lap time is Connor Hall.
And Connor Hall going to be going to the end of this one. You have to wonder if Matt Cucker gets a little bit physical. 2 laps to go from Bristol. Here we go, side by side for second. The 69 down low. If For these two, though, yes, you want to be able to fight it out, just don't wreck the race cars. It's the last thing you want to happen. White flag for Christian Peterson up at the front of the field here. Connor Hall's going to try to hang on in this battle for Matt Kucker, and I think he's going to be able to do it. As the 69 drops back into behind, and Christian Peterson is going to close in on the championship lead in the late model stock. Second win of the year, winner tonight from Bristol.
Great show these guys put on tonight. Christian Peterson able to hang on for just that final restart. Connor Hall obviously wanting to, take that away from him, but up gives him a little congratulatory bump to Christian Peterson. Great class by him. And Matt Kucker coming all the way from 19th up to P3.
It was a great run for him, but at the end of the day, Gary Peterson gets the win. Came into tonight as the second-place rider in the points, 11 behind Kucker. Kucker does a great job after that 2-win kick to the back of the pack. Started 19th. Third is a fantastic result. He gets almost the same amount of points as Peterson, so it's not going to be as big of a swing as you might have thought when I told you Peterson's starting on row 3, and Matt Kucker's back in 19th out of 19 cars on the grid. But Peterson will close in a little bit, and he ties Matt Kucker with his second late model stock win of the year.
That's a great performance by Christian Peterson, and of course another great battle with Connor Hall for second, or at least for first place, where Connor Hall ended up in second. That was amazing. Great job by Connor Hall to finish second.
23 machines celebrated on the front straightaway as your winner in this, the Coliseum 200. What we'll do is we'll take one more opportunity to step aside. When we come back, we'll catch up with the top finishers, get you set for the next race out with the cars. eSport Tour on LSR TV, post-race show from Bristol when we come back.
Team racing allows multiple iRacing members to team up and race together, just like in real-world endurance series. Teammates can share driving duties, spot for one another, or be a crew chief. Team racing is free, both to join a team and to create one. Each teammate races on his or her own computer from wherever they want to. Your teammates can be anywhere in the world, and changing drivers mid-race is as easy as a click of a button. iRacing features team endurance events ranging from just a couple of hours to 24 hours in length. So, if you fancy taking part in an iRacing endurance race in the future, you can learn more about team racing on the teams page on the member website.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV, and it may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Live Sim Racing LLC and iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations. LSR TV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. And welcome back live to the Bristol Motor Speedway. LSR TV's coverage of the 2018 Cars eSport Tour continuing tonight on your home for sim racing at iRacing Live. Happy that you're back with us from Bristol Motor Speedway. Evan Pasoko, Trevin Valderrama, Gary Weaver with you in the booth, and all down track side with us, our top three finishers. We'll go chat with them in just a moment. First, we take a look top to bottom with a look at our LSR TV full race results. Christian Peterson gets the win, second for him on the year. He'll close in the championship lead in the late model stocks on top of Connor Hall, who comes home in second position, and Matt Kucker with a third, up 16 spots. He's your hard charger. Those three going to be down with us momentarily. Joe Burchett with a great run ends up exactly where he started in fourth. So does Brandon Wilkinson, so no changes between those two, as Wilkinson gets a P5 out of this one. All these drivers in the positive, as Christian Murphy up to 6th, Jeremy Adams up to 7th, Tommy Ryan up to 8th, Scott Austin up to 9th, and Sean Cross P10.
P11 goes to Roy Blum, and that was your last car on the lead lap. Todd Novosad goes to P12, P13 going to go to Jeremy Watkins, P14 Cam Davidson, P15 goes to Robbie Bunden, P16 Jonathan Logan, P17 Derek Paulson coming all the way from first, down to 17th unfortunately. P18 goes to Reed Rundle, and P19 rounding out your 19 car field, Dwight Beverly.
Gonna be looked top to bottom at your LSR TV full race results. Let's go trackside and chat with the driver of the number 23 Chevrolet. Christian Peterson is your race winner from the Bristol Motor Speedway. We're trackside with him. Christian, congratulations on the win, my friend. We just missed out on chatting with you in that super late model one earlier, as you guys just missed those top 3 spots, but a critical win for you guys here tonight, chasing Matt in the points, and I know he had to start way from the back and made an incredible drive up to 3rd, but you guys get your 2nd win of the year, and at least you tighten things up a little bit.
Yeah, it was a really good race, and I was really happy that we rebounded from the super race and topped it off with a win here after running through the field in the last 25 laps. But it was a really fun race with Connor and all the guys, and Joe and those guys that we raced up front with. It was in this race. It was really fun. So me and Connor and I door banged a few times, but it was all in. I think it was all in good racing, and I think we put on a good show.
It was fun to see him in the sim with us here tonight and put it on a fight with you for sure. And I could have sworn that on that last restart he was going to be coming for you. I don't think he was necessarily mad at you with a lap car, though, that got in the way. But, you know, fighting with him, and of course, Matt, who got there late, but Joe was in the battle all night long. Where did you feel like maybe that 23 machine had a little bit more speed left inside of it compared to those guys that gave you an upper hand to be able to be in the control car position for those last few restarts, which I think was critical?
Well, I think I was better on the bottom after a few laps, but the top seemed like you could clear on the bottom on the restart. If you're down there, you could usually clear a car, and then you'd have to move up. I don't know if the tire pressures went down a little bit or what it was, just the tires cooling down, but you had to go up for a few laps, and then after that, you could really just drive it hard and kind of get it to where you want with the throttle. The setup was really good. It turned really well on throttle, unless you like really overdrove it. So I think just getting on the bottom, and then, you know, I kind of pinned him up there in that lap car, and I mean, either who he's mad at, it's racing. I wouldn't be pissed if I was racing side by side and, you know, there's a lap car, but sometimes they get out of your way or sometimes they don't.
Of course, a big step in the right direction for you guys to get out of the trip to victory lane in these late model stocks, and obviously keeping that momentum going from Lanier. So you guys have definitely countered. Matt got 2 wins in a row. You've now gotten 2 wins in a row. That might mean that you're going to have to go to the back for the next race out. But how do you guys feel like you've been performing now that we're halfway through the season, and any specific areas you look to improve on to keep this championship fight nice and close and maybe be able to take it over by the time we're done here?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Cucker's definitely going to be a hard contender all season. You know, he's got 2 wins now. I got 2 wins now, so I'll be starting in the back, like you said. So, I think it's New Smyrna next time we come around to this track or this series. So, for these cars, so it's usually a pretty good track for me. Cucker and I have battled out there good before. So, if we can just if I can get through the mess and get to the front, and we'll see if we can close a little bit. We should have closed a few here and led some laps. I don't know. I don't think Cucker led a lap, so we should gain some points.
I know it was a long, hard-fought night. You guys competed, as always, in both of the divisions, so we'll let you jet out of here, Christian. We appreciate your time, as always, but we're taking a look at the 23 machine who makes it happen for you.
Just everybody at Ventia Racing, like always, 6-man race cars. I got to thank Brummett for spotting. He did a really good job letting me know where everybody was, and guys next to me that helped out a lot, and then everybody at Peterson Irrigation, Globalcom, and ProTech Custom Gear.
The race winner tonight in the late model stocks for the Cars eSport Tour. Christian, congratulations on the win, and best of luck for the rest of the year. You're fixing to make this one fun. We're looking forward to it.
Thanks, Evan. I forgot, just thanks Austin Designs as well.
23 machine looking good up front as he gets the win here tonight. We'll also step down to the driver who comes home at a number 2 position tonight. The driver of the number 97 machine, Connor Hall, gets a 2nd place finish as we go down trackside with the driver of the 97. Connor, congratulations. Solid result for you and your first effort out here with the Cars eSport Tour. You started 2nd, you finished 2nd. I know the tail of the tape is not so simple, though. Talk us through your race.
So, I mean, don't really recall laps 1 through 10 just because we were 3rd, 4th, or 5th, somewhere around there. And I previously ran the super late model race, and we qualified on the pole there too, and got shuffled back and just got wrecked and stuff. So I was trying to take some of that away and put it into my memory bank for this race. But at the same time, it's a different car. I haven't ran it for a while, so I was trying to be as conservative as possible. but I wanted to get the track position because I knew that track position at Bristol was very important. So we took the lead probably around lap 20, and we held it all the way there to about lap 85, and I got pinched up into a lap car, and that kind of let the 23 car just get a little edge on me, and I couldn't really run them down after that.
We talked with the drivers, especially earlier on tonight in that SLM, about conserving tires, and that's something that Matt Cucker was talking about, why he was able to be so good in that second run to the end. Do you feel like maybe the fact that you had dropped back to those 4th and 5th positions made you work a little bit harder, that gave Christian an advantage there at the end, or was it just the difference that the 23 machine's been running on these Wednesday nights for so long, and it's tough to match that your first time out?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was just a little of both. I'm not really good at a place like Bristol where you really have to charge the corner. I'm more of a momentum type driver. And I don't know. I believe this being my first go-around has something to do with it. I haven't run iRacing in a while, but when I heard that Car Store had an E-Series, I definitely had to get into it. So, I don't know. I'm taking away a pretty good finish, I think, from my first go-around, and pretty healthy experience, and I'm glad. I mean, there's a really good competition here, and I think I'll be back next week or 3 weeks from now, I believe.
Well, you definitely went head-to-head with Matt Cucker, Christian Peterson. Those are the two guys who make the most of better noise here on Wednesday night, so that's a good way to definitely dip your feet into the water for sure. Connor, I know it's been a long night. We'll let you get out of here. Before we do those sponsors or shout-outs, anybody you want to say hi to?
I don't have any sponsors. iRacing's just kind of a hobby for me, so I guess just hi, family.
Well, that'll do it. Hey, we appreciate your time, Connor. Again, congratulations on the solid result, and hopefully we'll be able to catch you in a couple of the upcoming races, and best of luck in those. Hopefully we'll chat soon.
Thanks.
Second place finisher from the Bristol Motor Speedway, making his Cars eSport Tour debut out of the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East, Connor Hall, second in attempt number 1. We'll toss things down pit road, one more position to Gary Weaver's down trackside with the drive of the 60 Honda machine. Matt Cucker going to lose a little bit in the points, but up 16 spots. Great run to third.
I'm standing here at trackside right now with the number 69 of Matt Cucker. Another podium finish, but just 2 positions less from most likely where he wanted to start. So Matt Cucker, he did an amazing job, however, getting back up to third throughout this entire run. How'd that race go for you tonight?
Yeah, I was starting 19th. Well, I knew it was going to be an uphill battle the whole way, especially when in Q we didn't do so hot. So I figured I'm just going to try to save for first half until we get a competition yellow, and it wasn't really that hard to pass, but at the beginning there, but towards the end I really couldn't get any runs on the bottom and can't go to the top. So I mean, earlier on the track was alright, the car was good, and then once we got towards the later stages, there was just it was really hard to pass, and I needed more restarts so that way I could try to get ahead of them and try different stuff on the restarts, and we just weren't able to get those. But I'm glad I could take third place after starting 19th. That's an uphill battle.
Yeah, we did mention that these restarts would help you, and in a way they did, as you managed to get up 16 positions from where you started, so not too bad of a run. So is there anything else that you wanted to have done differently, or did you really think that this race was the best that you could have done?
I think that was probably the best I could have done. I mean, it's just the restarts. If you weren't on the bottom, you had to pull something magical on the top, or if somebody would mess up on the top just a little bit, then the bottom could go. So there's nothing really much I could do except for not win 2 races in a row, which is what made me put me back there. But now Christian's got to start in last next time, so we'll see what he could do next time we go racing these cars. And yeah.
And that next time that we head is New Smyrna and Charlotte. So any thoughts or anticipations as we head into those 2 tracks next month?
I mean, New Smyrna is a hard track to pass in the late model stocks. It all depends on where you start, pretty much, and then if you can move them at the beginning where the tires are still fresh and they don't slip and slide or push up and hit the wall and then wreck. So starting at the back for him is going to be a little tough, but I mean, I know Christian can do it, and he showed it tonight that he can wheel and deal and be up front with me, and it's going to be a good points battle the rest of the season.
It's definitely exciting to watch. So before I let you go, anyone that you would like to thank for finishing third place?
I got to thank Turn 3 Auto Transport. I got to thank Team Vincier, Globalcom, iAnalyze, six-man race cars again. I thank you guys for always putting on an awesome show at LSR TV, and Kyle Barnes and Cars Tour for putting the show on.
Matt Cucker, driver the number 69, finishing third here tonight at Bristol after winning the super late models. Congratulations once again.
Alrighty, thank you.
That's our top three finishers from the late model stocks. Christian Peterson gets the win. Big thanks to him, Connor Hall, Matt Cuckerall for giving us a little bit of time post-race in this one. And Trevin, excited racing top to bottom at both of the races. Two great finishes. Christian Peterson, though, I think at the end of the day, best car would have mattered the most. I think the fastest cars won each race, and it's another story of Matt Cucker and Christian Peterson exchanging blows that I'm sure will not be the last time we discuss that as we work into now the second half of the season coming up.
Yeah, these two have been dominant all season long, and I'm looking for them to be very dominant in the rest of the season as they have more momentum going on. But, you know, just always such dominant series or dominant people. You see them week in, week out, as I was saying earlier. You know, great racing by both of them, and they're obviously a force to be reckoned with.
And of course, as we mentioned, Gary, going to be going into New Smyrna in Charlotte in a couple of weeks' time. That one's going to be exciting next time out. Of course, a couple of weeks off as always, but when we come back, I think New Smyrna, one of my personal favorites, so it should be fun. And as I've been mentioning over the course of the night, we are now getting closer to the end. No longer counting up in numbers, we're counting down towards the end of the season. So if you're not in the championship picture now, you got to kick it into gear.
Yeah, essentially New Smyrna and Charlotte completely two different tracks, and it's going to be quite interesting to see how these drivers run each and every track. As New Smyrna is, Charlotte and the Charlotte Legends Oval has about 5 degrees of banking on the front straightaway, which is essentially throughout the Legends Oval pit road and the actual front straightaway. As New Smyrna, 20 degrees in turn, 7 degrees on the straightaway. It's going to be very, very exciting to see what these drivers can do next month.
And the good news is, of course, we'll have plenty of sim racing action between now and then. We are done, though, for the rest of the week. But there's going to be tons of stuff coming up when we get back at it next week around. You're going to find a full look at the upcoming LSR TV broadcast schedule on our website at www.livesimracing.com. You can also follow us on social media. You get looks at post-race interviews, clips from races, info, and all of that good stuff. And that's going to give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/LSRTV official. And by following us on Twitter at LSRTV, that is your best way to stay in the know. On behalf of our entire team, though, at Live Sim Racing LLC, for DJ Lyon, Laura Lawson, everybody else who makes it happen night in and night out up in the booth, and of course for your team tonight, for myself, Evan Pasocco, and as well for Gary Weaver, Trevor Valderrama, and our producer, Cisco Scaramuza. Congratulations to, we've said this before, Matt Cucker and Christian Peterson. They are your race winners tonight in the Cars eSport Tour. Off next week, we'll be back at it June the 13th from New Smyrna and the Charlotte Legends Oval. That race and every race on this 2018 Championship eSports Association Cars eSport Tour can be found right here at LSR TV, your home for sim racing. Until next time, good night.